Welcome to Geological Shop Talk. In this podcast, we bring you roughly 20 to 25 minutes of practical clinical methods, perspectives, and advice that has its work boots on. Listen in for clinical gems that you can begin to investigate the next time that you walk into clinic. Additionally, visit the show notes page for supporting materials from this week's guest on Shop Talk. All right, friends, roll up your sleeves. Let's get to work. This episode of Shop Talk is brought to you by LASA OMS, your clinic's partner in wellness. Later in the show, listen for a special offer from LASA to help you with all the transitions your patients face. The information shared on this podcast is for educational purposes only and is not intended as medical advice. Always consult a qualified licensed healthcare professional before making any decisions about your health or treatment. The host and guests are not responsible for any actions taken based on the content of this podcast.
Hi there, Michelle Grasek here, acupuncturist and founder of Acupuncture Marketing School. Today, we're going to cover 4 important steps to make your email marketing more effective, plus 3 major barriers that prevent most of us from sending email newsletters regularly to our subscribers. These barriers are concern that you're annoying your subscribers when you email them, not knowing what the heck to write about, and not having enough time to write email content regularly. Before we dive into the nitty-gritty, why do I recommend email marketing so strongly? Email is an incredibly effective marketing strategy, and it's very cost-effective. Research shows that for every dollar you spend on email marketing, the average return is $38. That's a 3,800% return on your investment. Let's compare this to social media. For every dollar you spend on social media, research shows the return is an average of $1.28. So that's positive. It's a 128% return on your investment. But clearly, email marketing is more cost effective. It's a phenomenal low-cost opportunity to get in front of your audience, teach them how much acupuncture can help them, and remind them to make an appointment. Let's dig into these 4 steps to make your email marketing more effective, and we will talk about each of these in more detail. 1, send emails consistently, ideally twice a month. Now, don't panic. We will discuss this in a moment. 2, keep your emails short and simple. 3, include a strong call to action. And 4, repurpose content to make writing emails much less work. Consistency is really essential in any kind of marketing, and email is no different. I recommend sending 2 emails a month. I know the idea of 2 emails a month can be intimidating, not just writing that much content, but also the potential fear that you'll be annoying your audience by emailing more than you're used to. So let's discuss both of those concerns. I find that the traditional once monthly email newsletter is not enough for people to remember their intention to make an appointment with you. You have to email people often enough to stay top of mind. That's a huge part of what we're doing each time we email, staying top of mind with our subscribers. So ideally, what happens when your email lands in the inbox of your ideal patient? They open it, they read through it, they understand how acupuncture can help them, and they respond to your call to action by clicking on the link to make an appointment. But what actually happens in reality is that a lot of times people get distracted. We know this is true because we all do this with our own emails that we receive on a regular basis. We read an email, we say, yes, I want this, I'm going to make an appointment, or I want to buy this thing. But then we get distracted by the millions of other things going on the internet, and we end up watching videos of golden retrievers wearing sweaters on YouTube for 15 minutes. And we totally forget about our intention to make that appointment or do whatever it was that the email talked about. And then the kicker, a lot of acupuncturists don't email their subscribers again for a month, or maybe even 3 or 4 months. And that's actually very common. That is a long time. Even 1 month is plenty of time for someone to forget that they meant to do something, especially without any reminders in that time frame. So I find that sending 2 emails a month is really a sweet spot for us as practitioners in terms of writing the email content and for our subscribers. Think about your favorite clothing store, for example. When they're having a sale, they'll email you 3, maybe even 4 times a day. We are not doing that. 2 emails a month in comparison to the volume of other emails your subscribers are getting is minimal. It's a polite number of emails to send compared to the barrage of emails that they're getting from other companies. But if you're consistent, it's also just often enough to remind them, I did want to make that appointment, and then actually do it. If you're still worried that you're annoying people with your emails or anxious about increasing the frequency of emails, remember, people signed up to your email list for a reason because they're interested in what you have to teach them and they want to hear from you. They're waiting to hear from you. So you're just popping into their inbox to remind them that 1, acupuncture can help them, and B, your practice exists conveniently in their community. For maximum effectiveness, you've got to keep popping into their inbox regularly to stay top of mind. So don't give up. You are not annoying people. This is the kind of thing that, like a lot of marketing, picks up speed and effectiveness the longer you do it. The more people get used to seeing you in their inbox and learning from you, getting to know you by the way that you write, the way that you teach and approach this medicine, the better. It's very trust building, and it's only going to become more effective with consistency. And something else that I have to add is that every time you send an email, people will unsubscribe. This is normal, so expect it in advance and don't take it personally. It does not mean that you're annoying people. Every professional digital marketer out there knows that each time they send an email, some people are going to choose to leave. This isn't a bad thing because it probably just means they weren't going to become your patients anyway. If they don't stick around, they're not your people. Let them go. It's totally normal. But please don't let fear of unsubscribers deter you from sending emails. At this point, most people's next questions are, how will I find time for writing that much content? And what am I supposed to write about twice a month? So the answers are, in a nutshell, keep your emails short and simple and repurpose content that you've already written. Let's start with keeping your email simple. You only need 1 message to share in order to send your email newsletter. For many acupuncturists, when we think about email newsletters, we think about the kind of newsletter that's a collection of 3 or 4 related articles. I'm sure you're familiar with this. Each section introduces a new blog post or a new article, and there's often a theme that unites all of the articles, although there doesn't have to be. There's nothing wrong with this format. It works fine, but it is a lot of work. And I know that many acupuncturists feel intimidated by having to regularly write a complex, multi-part email newsletter like this. And it often prevents people from sending their email newsletters at all because it takes so much time and effort every month, so they send nothing. This is super common. And I agree, I also felt this way, which is why I stopped writing this kind of newsletter a long time ago. Luckily, the truth is that while there's nothing wrong with this format, it's also simply not necessary. You only need 1 message or 1 piece of information to share with your audience to have a reason to send the email. If you take nothing else away from this discussion, I want to remove the blocks that are keeping you from sending emails. I just want you to send them and get in front of your audience. At the start of my practice, almost 12 years ago, I had a fabulous marketing mentor named Deb. And there was one time where I was really dragging my feet on sending my email newsletter. And she gave me a little kick in the pants by reminding me that email marketing only works if you send it. Ouch. It's better to hit send on a short, simple email that maybe feels imperfect than to never send anything. So what do I mean by just one message or just one piece of information to share with your subscribers? Here are some examples. These could each be brief 2-paragraph emails. 1, share a research article that you found on acupuncture for a specific condition that you love treating. For example, knee pain. Summarize the study in layman's terms in a few sentences. Take a moment to describe the symptoms your ideal patient is experiencing and how this is impacting or limiting their life so that it's relating the study back to their personal experience, and then include a call to action telling them to make an appointment. Example number 2, answer a frequently asked question such as how many treatments do I need for X, for fertility or carpal tunnel or cosmetic acupuncture, and include your call to action. Number 3, share a blog post that you wrote, whether you wrote it recently or a long time ago, it doesn't matter. Summarize the blog post briefly in your email and include a link so people can click through and read the entire thing in depth if they want. Don't forget to connect the content of the blog post to their experience and how you can help them, and then include your call to action to make an appointment. And 4, introduce a new staff member or announce a sale or invite people to an event, etc., and include your call to action. You can see that each email is short, including just one topic, making a connection between the topic, the patient's experience, how acupuncture can help them, and then a call to action. So I would argue that only including one topic per email helps prevent your message and your call to action from getting watered down. It really helps your audience focus and take an action instead of getting distracted. And I mentioned earlier that one important step in effective email marketing is including a strong call to action. So what does that mean? A call to action is when you tell your audience what you want them to do and how to do it. For example, if you're ready to try acupuncture for your chronic knee pain, click here to schedule now. It's essential to include this because otherwise people are reading your emails for educational purposes and then doing nothing. A call to action is required for marketing to be truly effective and not a waste of your time. You have to tell people what to do next. Literally answer the question, what's the next step if they're ready to work with you? This is not being pushy. By being clear and concise, you are actually making their life easier. In the digital world, people expect to be told what to do, what next step to take. They do not like having to click around and search for something or figure it out on their own. We all know this from experience. That is irritating and time consuming, and you risk losing their attention quickly. So a simple, strong call to action, such as click here to make an appointment today, is very important in every email to make your marketing effective. Okay, let's talk about what to write in your emails twice a month. Where do you come up with that content? The answer is repurposing content. It makes your email marketing so much less work. Repurposing content is when you take something that you wrote or created for one platform and you copy and paste it and make some minor tweaks so that it makes sense for a different platform. For example, let's say you wrote an Instagram post about how many treatments are needed for fertility and why. You could copy the caption from your Instagram post into your email provider and make a few tweaks so that it makes sense as an email. So in this case, you would get rid of your hashtags, of course, and change your call to action. Instead of saying, click the link in my bio, which is a really common call to action on Instagram, you would say, click here or click the button below to schedule now in your email. Repurposing is also excellent because repetition is necessary for marketing to be effective. It's okay for the same people to see the same message from you across multiple platforms. It's reinforcing and trust building because your message is consistent. So this is where I recommend starting. Go through anything you've already written, blog posts, Instagram or Facebook posts, even copy on your website where you're answering frequently asked questions or parts of your website where you talk about your specialty, and simply copy, paste, and edit that text as emails. And I bet you'll have at least a year's worth of email content right there. Another important way you can repurpose content is to simply resend emails that you've sent in the past. Trust me when I say that people will not remember that you sent a nearly identical email a year ago. I highly recommend doing this to reduce your total workload. So I hope this has been helpful and encourages you to get serious about email marketing. I think it will really be worth your effort. To review, keep these 4 steps in mind. Send emails consistently. Keep your emails short and simple. Always include a call to action, and repurpose content to make it as easy as possible. If you still feel intimidated by the idea of writing 2 emails a month, I have a group of 26 email templates for sale that you can use instead of writing them from scratch. These are real emails that I send to my patients about acupuncture for pain, anxiety, digestion, and other topics. You simply copy and paste, make a couple edits to match your clinic, and hit send. For Qiological listeners, I'm offering a discount code for $30 off. The code is Qiological30, one word, and there'll be a link in the show notes if you'd like to take a look at the email templates. It's been a pleasure talking with you today. Of course, if you have any questions, feel free to send me an email. I'm always happy to chat with you. Michelle@michellegrasek.com.
When you're looking for herbs, tools, and supplies to guide your patients through life's transitions, you need quality you can trust. Lhasa OMS offers an unmatched selection of acupuncture needles for every style, herbs from all your favorite manufacturers, and everything else you need to run your clinic with confidence. Visit LhasaOMS.com to source the herbs and other supplies featured in this series. Use the code FERTILE15 for 15% off your next purchase at LhasaOMS.com. Some exclusions apply. See website for details. That's it for this episode of Shop Talk. Did you learn something that brought a patient to mind? Don't keep a good thing to yourself. Share it with a friend. They'll be happy that you did. And tune in again for our next episode of Shop Talk.